Hey, what's up, y'all? So we're gonna do a quick Superman review. Full spoilers ahead. Just gonna get right to it. I'm mostly gonna talk about what I didn't like about this movie. It was very disappointing for me, and I just want to give you the perspective of a Superman fan. I had no biases going into this movie. I intentionally avoided news and trailers. Only trailer I saw was the very first one, but I didn't look at any hot spots or any promotions or anything like that, just because I wanted my opinion to be truly my own. With that being said, the first thing I did not like in this movie was Crypto. He was a nuisance. He was annoying. He was not as helpful as I would have hoped he would be in these situations. He just really ruined a couple scenes for me. It was one scene in particular where Superman is trying to talk to Lex and appeal to him, and it's cut for a laugh so that Crypto can kind of thrash around Lex, which did make sense on a couple of levels because why would you let this super dog beat up a normal human being? This dog could easily kill Lex by accident, but somehow we're just letting them beat him up, bite on him, and all this other stuff. And the whole time, like you think that it's made because they want people to laugh, but it really came across as a little cringy because you're worried about Lex at the end. Like, is he about to bite his arm off? What's about to happen for real? Which leads me to my next point, was this movie was just too goofy. It was just so many things that just stood and was just felt out of place. There was a girl just taking selfies through the whole movie, which I do understand that her taking the selfies was a part of the plot, but at the end of the day, it didn't make sense even for Lex to have this kind of ditzy, goofy woman going and top secret facilities and areas where they're doing like very real stuff, illegal stuff, bad stuff, making plans and whatnot, and she's just in there taking pictures and being a goof. And nobody at any point said this is like a no cell phone area. It just didn't make sense for Lex to have this genius to have I mean, I can't imagine Batman just having a girl walk around the Batcave, even just taking selfies. He would have snatched that phone out of her hand, put it down, and go sit down somewhere. You know what I mean? I don't know. There was a giant monster that attacked the city. They played that for a laugh as well. I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of funny watching Jimmy. I was like, Jimmy must got that thing on him for real, cause man, old girl was really pining for him. I'm like, okay. I was over here like, why are you gay? That's what I was thinking in my head when I was watching Jimmy. Cause I'm like, bro, she is cute. Holler back. But anyway, my next point is or problem with this movie was Superman got beat up a lot. It was actually kind of sad. The first half of the movie just felt like he was just getting it handed to him. And I was waiting for a scene. I was just waiting for a moment where it just felt like, all right, Superman's going to step up and just show them that I'm that guy. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm going to show you why I really am Superman. And it just never happened for me. His character just did evoke a respect. There was a scene in Captain America Civil War where Ant-Man sees Cap and he's like, Captain America, wow, this is Captain America. And there was never that moment for me for Superman where it was just like, man, people see him and they really respect him. There was just a lot of disrespect, people acting like he was not needed when he's supposed to be the leader and the founder of the Justice League, where people truly look to him as the symbol of peace and the leader of the Justice League. And if you can't control a dog, if you can't, command respect from your other superheroes around you, how are you going to be the leader of the Justice League? His suit looked dusty. There was a scene he was in a desert walking, and his suit just looked so bad. It was just like, man. And as him being the symbol of peace, it just the symbol of hope, rather. It just didn't make sense that his suit just looked as dusty and kind of just whack as it did. There was way too much exposition in this movie, and it just was a lot of talking and not enough showing. A few scenes stand out, but there was one scene in particular where Mr. Terrific was just talking about his abilities or his past and stuff, and it was like, man, that would have been nice if we could have just seen that. There was another part that I don't like is kryptonite and its effect on Superman, Superman's abilities and how he can heal and different things like that. For those who don't know, what makes Superman so powerful is, again, he absorbs sunlight in his body, and he's been doing it for years since he was brought to Earth. So that's why he's so powerful. And so in this version of Superman, if you have kryptonite around him, he is through. He needs to rest for 3-4 days. This man is weak. The sun can be up and he will be just be out, and he got to go back to the facility. He got to go back to the Fortress of Solitude just to recover every time. Like, why can't you just fly into space and just heal, sir? The sun is there. And so it just didn't make sense. And then kryptonite being as strong as it is on him, kryptonite will literally have Superman shrivel up like a grape. And you would think that with kryptonite having this strong effect on Superman, that by contrast, his power is just that crazy, that, man, he is untouchable. But there was never a moment in this movie where he felt untouchable. There was never a point where, in fact, it doesn't even seem like he's the most powerful person in this universe. He got beat up a lot. And so it came to it just was like, is he really Superman? I mean, he wasn't commanding any respect. He wasn't the strongest person in the movie for most of the movie, and it just didn't feel fulfilling. The Fortress of Solitude scene just felt silly. Lex walking through and all the robots are standing there and nobody is able to notify Superman, and he doesn't even find out till way later that his fortress hasn't even been broken into. And it just didn't make sense to me, that none of the robots had a direct line or way to contact Superman. The action in this show was just subpar. Characters, it just fell flat mostly. I didn't feel like Superman used his powers and abilities in any real creative way to like help him accomplish any real missions. You know what I'm saying? He would fly into space and then fly back down and hit something, fly back, you know what I'm saying? And he uses laser vision at some point, but it just felt like, man, by the time he actually did something sort of cool, it just felt too little too late. Mr. Terrific had a pretty dope fight scene, but outside of that, it was pretty bare bones. Nothing. The punches didn't feel heavy. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel powerful, in my opinion. It wasn't smooth. The flying mechanics were janky. Camera kept flipping and zooming in on his forehead. It just felt weird, and it didn't seem like, wow, majestic. It didn't seem nothing. It just felt weird, kind of like disorienting in some ways, because it just kept flipping and zooming in. And by contrast, Superman seems slower because we're constantly having a side view of him flying. And he looks slower by contrast. The only way that would have looked good to me is if there was, lasers flying by simulating that he was going light speed. But he felt slow, you know what I'm saying? Because the bad guy was keeping up with him. So it never felt like he was really moving fast. Like in Man of Steel, man, they were essentially blurry for a minute, as fast as they were moving, in those type of in those past movies. So I don't know. The ending was very lame in my opinion. You didn't care about the side characters. You didn't care about the families needing rescue. The kid that's crying out in the trailer with the Superman flag. He never gets his wish for Superman to even save the day. Superman doesn't save the day. You're watching this kid cry out for Superman, wondering like, man, how Superman gonna come to his rescue, and he doesn't. And so it's just unfulfilling. The end credit scenes were weak, didn't even do nothing, and didn't even make sense most of the for the most part. It was just underwhelming, kind of disappointing. Not that great visually. It was just a disappointment. Let me know what y'all think. If I'm crazy, let me know. I would love to hear y'all opinions. And yeah, we out.